That's my surprise face, if you didn't know.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Nerdattude movie podcast. It's just us three again.
Happy New
Anthony's.
Year!
Oh yeah, Happy New Year. Same as the old year. COVID's still spreading. People are still dying. You know,
Lockdown starting up again.
That's debatable. The Omicron doesn't really seem to be killing anyone.
I didn't say they were dying from COVID.
Oh yeah. Car crashes, gunshots, obesity, heart disease, crack addiction, opioid addiction, mental health issues. Fell down a well. Quicksand.
The usual American.
Off-roading in the desert. I don't know.
It's just us three again. Anthony's actually off building igloos underwater. He's trying to beat the world record. Hasn't built one yet.
Yeah, world record of one.
We like to start off the podcast by saying Drake is a shitty artist.
Terrible. I don't understand
two movies.
I don't know. I mean, the greatest thing that happened to Drake, in my opinion, is when he was paralyzed. Is that real life or the show? Whatever.
It'd be funny if tomorrow he's like, "Yeah, I was paralyzed." Ouch. Matt, what did you do?
We just, right? Like, it's fucking Ari Shafir making fun of Kobe 2 days later.
My wife hears the podcast. Bad. She's like,
"That was a rough one.
That was rough.
That was your fault."
I'll have to just hold the episode until it passes. Like, we're not releasing that one, by the way.
I mean, I like dark humor as much as the next, but when I heard it, I was like, oh no.
I mean, that is what Ari Shafir does, though. Like, he is just the shock, like, I'm going to say fucked up shit that I find, like, I'm going to make a joke out of it. But, yeah, I mean, the sadness of Kobe Bryant is they would have been avoided if he wasn't so cheap. He would have bought the upgrade because they didn't have the, like, sonar or whatever it was to read the altitude and find the actual, where the cliffs were. And they were in a heavy fog. If he would have, I guess, had this certain module that had like a certain radar sonar thing, they could have avoided that. That's like, it was like 90. I think it was like the part itself was like 20 grand. It's like, bro.
Oh wow! It was his helicopter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his helicopter. That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't like he rented it for the day. It was his one that he owned, and that's the saddest part. Is it's like it just didn't have to happen.
Yeah, I know. Oh. Moral of the story, eat your Wheaties. All right.
Yeah, and, upgrade your fucking helicopters.
So we got two movies. We got The Rocketeer and Around the World in 80 Days, the Jackie Chan version, not the David Tennant version.
It's not released.
Wait, what? No, you would have to say the 1956 version. There is no David Tennant version yet. I mean, it's not released.
Yeah, they're still
not released. Yeah, the show is out there. Dude, every time I Googled fucking Around the World,
yeah, I know.
That's all that.
Nobody gives a shit about the Jackie Chan version. It's disturbing. They literally like, oh, did you mean this one? And you're like, no, I meant this one. Like, no, you fucking meant this one. All right, we're bringing you this site.
And it's funny, as soon as you put Jackie Chan at the end of it, all the ones you're looking for pop up.
Yeah, or if you know that it came out in 2004 is your best bet as well. At least then you'll get like somewhat of the proper fucking SEO data. Stupid fucking Google.
So this movie was released June 23rd, 1991. $35 million budget. I know, right?
I wasn't born in 91, so I don't know why I'm shouting it out,
but gross worldwide was 46 million.
Oh, flop.
Yeah, it was bad. And that was gross worldwide, so I can only imagine what it would be
this
like. This
was a flip chancla.
This was a bad.
Dude, I'm telling you. 04.
No, what you said what month?
June 23rd, 1991.
Okay.
Was it up against any like hard contenders?
So Canada
Terminator 2
on the 20th?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Wait, was Terminator 2 was 92, wasn't it? Was it filmed in 91, released in 92, I think? Cuz that movie dominated the theaters for a long fucking time.
Longer than Titanic?
91.
Did they still hold the record?
No, Avatar beat it, and then I think something else beat Avatar. I think a Marvel movie beat it, but it's because they re-released it and they had a second
run. Was it Spider-Man?
Terminator 2 came out in 91.
Yeah, so you have Terminator 2 during this time. I mean, who's going to fucking see this Nazi helmet-looking motherfucker instead of Terminator? Not me.
I love this movie, so I would have. No, I was trying to watch Terminator 2, most likely.
I mean, Terminator 2 is the ultimate movie. Except it can't be, I mean, You can't really use. You could use it as a date movie because there's action, maybe a little bit of horror with some of the robot stuff, and but it maybe isn't the best date movie. But other than that,
No, it's not a good date.
if you're me, it is fucking whatever.
Why do we go see Terminator 2 as a date? I'm breaking up with you.
You mean to tell me you're not soaking wet like a dipped beef?
Oh my god.
That's a Chicago reference, I think, solely.
Yeah, I think so.
Got to dip your fucking beef sandwiches.
So we're going to start with the Rocketeer. This movie takes place in the 1930s, and it's a whole bunch of pilots who just want to be pilots. They want to do, I guess, a world race or some sort of airplane race. It's a world championship for an airplane race, and then they throw in FBI people chasing crooks,
G-Man.
which you find out later are the Nazis.
Yep.
Well, no, not the crooks. The crooks were just hired thugs.
By Timothy Dalton.
But they were hired by a Nazi.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, you find out that he's the one that hired them.
Yep, a Rooney.
But they did not know they were working for the Nazis.
That's true.
It's not revealed until quite later because she finds out that he's the spy. Or he's the
we follow our hero, what's his name? Cliff
Bill Campbell.
And Alan Arkin, who plays Peavy, but I kept thinking he was calling him pervert, and I'm like, what is he calling him?
Dude,
is it Peavy pervert?
Was the main guy ever in another movie?
Yes. No, another movie. I don't know, but
I don't remember ever seeing him in anything else.
He's the bad husband in Enough.
Never. I know what movie you're talking about, but I never watched it.
He was in
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That's not a new movie.
No. Oh, nothing new. He did a lot of TV after.
Cardinal. It went to 2020.
The fuck is Cardinal?
It's a TV show.
TV. Yeah.
Dude, you literally you don't even know what it is. You're just like, when's 2020, I guess.
So
he was doing something.
Right after Rocketeer, he did Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I love that movie.
I don't recognize his face I didn't even recognize his face from this fucking movie. I haven't seen this in a long time, and I was like, oh, this is the guy. I don't know why. He's like Nathan Fillion that never had any success.
As the young version, I didn't recognize him, but as the older version, I did recognize him. So
maybe I should look up what is his name.
What's it called?
Billy Campbell.
Billy Campbell.
Like Campbell soup. If I ever see him, I'll be like, hey,
Campbell
Mr. Soup.
I don't recognize his old version. I don't recognize his long-haired version. I mean, maybe was he in an episode of Burn Notice? Everybody was in fucking Burn Notice, weren't they? Burn Notice was the 2000s Tales from the Crypt.
He was in a lot of Fox stuff. So he was in the OC.
Oh, I might know him from the OC because I was gay for 2 seasons of that show.
He was in Melrose Place.
Never watched that, but I think I may recognize him from like posters and shit.
But he was in the 44, the TV series, which 4400, sorry.
Was he the main guy
in 4400?
Yeah.
Whoever Jordan Collier was, he was in.
He's the fuck out of me.
He was in all 26 episodes. Yeah.
He is not a well-known name around my household, to tell you that much.
Not even. I don't recognize him as the young version, like I said, but I recognize him as this older version.
Is he Canadian or what is he? I doubt he's
Star Trek.
I'm gonna say he wasn't American or isn't American, and I only say that because it doesn't seem like he really broke the American cinema spectrum after this one. Like it was like Rocketeer, and then.
He's got to be American because he was in a lot of American televisions going back to the 80s. He was in Family Ties, Dynasty. He had a reoccurring role in Dynasty, which I used to watch with my family.
Virginia, you're right. He attended Fork Union Military Academy. Okay.
Oh, I almost thought it said Tales from the Crypt.
He was an ROTC man.
Oh, he was in some. Okay, Gods and Generals, Ghost Town. I got you. Enough.
Can we talk about Jennifer Connelly, who is still hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty
like
good.
That woman Like the
I was gonna
older she
say,
gets, the prettier she gets. I just don't understand.
That's almost like Sandra Bullock. Although, has anyone seen Britney Spears' latest escapade? She posted a photo of like bare ass naked, but little emojis like covering her privates.
oh wow.
But the problem is, she's like, I don't know, man. I was Team Britney.
Doesn't look good.
I'm Team
No.
Britney, but it's like you kind of look like a crack whore, and you have children.
Oh,
Like it's like she got some bags, and the makeup's kind of fucked up around the eye, and it's like, why don't you take a shower, take a bath, then take your naked photos? Like, I'm not saying you have to do your makeup
just
and
living her life now that she's free.
and I'm all for that, but like this is the type of shit where they're gonna go, yeah, see, she shouldn't have. She needs a conservationship because as soon as like we stop watching her, she's posting weird naked photo selfies, and it's like the truth is she's probably just a narcissist, which is all of Hollywood. So
young Britney versus old Britney, she did not age well.
She doesn't look bad, but like look at Jennifer Aniston.
Good point.
She's still amazing. And Britney, they're not the same age, but it's probably, a decade off, maybe? Maybe? I'd imagine Jennifer Aniston's probably 10 years older, and she looks better than her.
She also has her own little skincare thing that she has, though, so...
Yeah,
she was able to make money off of that.
Yeah, it's...
had Britney make her own decisions on her career choices, she probably would have her own skincare.
Yeah, but you do know what her skincare cream is made from, right?
No, I don't.
The bones of aborted fetuses. Full term.
The blood of children.
She's been drinking the fucking... She just cracks them open by the spine and sucks out the marrow.
Or pours it
out. It's how I stay young.
Yeah, up against the wall. It's just a stain as it drips down.
Oh, God, I just hurt my nose with that fucking hit.
Oh, my God.
Ray Parker Jr. performed 16-minute long version of Ghostbusters live. No thanks. Why would I want to sit around for 16 minutes of that song? That's the actual length. That's the actual length of the song.
Is it really?
Yeah. The actual version. Yeah, the actual version is 16 minutes, but they cut it down because it's like, why the fuck did you make a 16-minute long song? What are you stupid?
What the fuck?
That makes no sense.
That's ridiculous.
So I don't know about you guys, but I did read the Rocketeer comics.
No, I did not.
They are pretty good.
Yeah, but were they out before this, or was it merchandise after this? Is this based off a comic?
This is based off of the graphic novel.
Okay.
Yeah. This is based off of the graphic novel.
Gotcha.
But it was pretty spot on with the exception of changing a couple characters. But there's obviously more in the comics because they ran longer. They can do more. I mean, this movie was, and I talked about this with Matt. This movie was Disneyed up. It was very much Disneyed up. And I think
the intro to the movie, the first 2 minutes tell you that alone. Between the music and the way it's filmed.
Matt, you didn't like it.
No, I thought it was pretty boring.
And I think it was because Disney was trying to capture that like old school film with a modern twist on it, but keeping the old school style. Because if you watch a lot of old school films, they drag on like this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, but the problem is they also
side action.
They also, like I said, they're trying to make like a new Indiana Jones.
I do see that in this one. Yeah, they tried really hard to kind of give it that adventure,
grand adventure. Yeah.
And to that failed effect, I think it's because, and we talked about this too, there was less Rocketeer action.
Yeah.
And more build up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fucking downtime in this movie.
There is a lot of downtime.
Like between action even between like interesting dialogue pieces, there's just a lot of slow.
I do have to say that this one was like an hour and 48 minutes, and the other one we're going to talk about is 2 hours. I did find myself dozing off a little more with the 2 hour movie than this one.
I got 48 minutes into this, and I was like, it's almost over, right? I was like, an hour left? Like, I thought the movie was about to wrap up. And at that point, I was like, oh, it's not bad. It's brisk pace. Nope.
But how do you feel about, like, slow burn movies? Because this is a slow burn movie.
I don't mind slow burn movies, but it's not paced right. That's the problem. Slow burn movies have to have a certain pacing. This was like, whimsical opening, slow. he tests the jetpack. Ha ha ha. Slow.
And
Like, there's too much peaks and valleys in this. It should have been, there's got to be a certain, like, if it's going to be a slow burn, then it's got to be a build-up. But there's never a build-up. It's just more like action, only a couple action set pieces, surrounded by the relationship set pieces, surrounded by the comedic set pieces with Alan Arkin and the crew. And to me, they just didn't mend well together at all.
Yeah.
And Matt, you stated before we recorded that there were points in this movie where there was a build up to a grand climax on a scene, and it didn't really hit that crescent, that top piece.
Even, I mean, part kind of it's how it's filmed in a way, because look at the only really exhilarating scene in the movie somewhat is the car chase scene at the beginning when they're chasing them with the jetpack itself. Like, that's the beginning of the movie sets up a bigger movie than what this is. Like, the problem is this movie feels like it should be a grand adventure or a somewhat, large scale movie. It has the soundtrack and the wide sweeping shots, and it's a very local kind of, just like, think of the first Thor movie compared to the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Thor 1 was in the desert. It was a small town. It didn't really affect many people. 2, 3, and beyond are literally going through the fucking galaxy.
What was the name of the Lothar? You didn't find that fight scene on the Zeppelin with Lothar to be a little fun?
I did like the fight scene on the Zeppelin, but the problem is I wanted more of that. Like, honestly, I didn't give two shits about the romantic relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I could have done away with that completely. I like Alan Arkin in this. I don't hate Timothy Dalton, but it's like, it's hard for me to, after watching Hot Fuzz, to see him in this role, because it's basically the same role, but he's being serious in this. So it's also like, eesh.
They're also decades apart, though. So,
but the problem
differently when he got older.
Yeah, but the problem is this movie, he was like in his prime. This is his big Disney show he's gonna put on. He's really trying. This is a real villain. He's not goofy. The Hot Fuzz role was goofy. It was exaggerated and absurd, but it's the same performance.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
My favorite part in this, and I do love this movie, it brings back a lot of good memories for me from my early childhood, from what I can remember. But my favorite character in this movie is the super thug he gets, the like really big guy.
Lothar.
Rocket, bring me the rocket. Yeah. Like, I love that guy.
Yeah,
it was like the same makeup from fucking Dick Tracy.
I did notice that too.
I think they're 1 year off.
He could barely move his mouth and shit. Like,
did Warren Beatty direct this one too? No, it's
I was looking to see if it was the same makeup people, but I couldn't find. There's so much fucking.
Where's the Mumbles makeup?
I love that guy.
Movie. Dick Tracy was in 1990, and Rocketeer came out in 91. So
I own Dick Tracy, I think, on iTunes.
Really?
I haven't watched it in a long time, but I bought it because it was like $5, and I was like, I'll watch it at some point. The really weird thing is, literally, Warren Beatty was fucking Madonna while they filmed that movie. They were like 25 years apart. Yeah, it's fucking weird, bro.
And he wasn't with Annette Bening at the time, and she wasn't Annette also in the movie?
Dude, I don't know. Warren Beatty has gone through so much Hollywood gash. Like, the dude was a puss hound. And I'm not saying in a brag way. It's disgusting. Like, women still revere him as like, oh, Warren. It's like, you fucking off your fucking rocker. But it's no worse than guys going, oh yeah, I'd do Helen Mirren. Would you? Fucking get out of here. Shut up. Helen Mirren's totally hot. No, she's not hot. She's good looking for an 80-year-old woman. Not fucking hot.
The one scene in this movie that made me laugh so fucking hard, like I had to pause the movie, I was laughing, was when Peavy gets the sheet from Jenny, and she's like, here, I have something for you, and it's the schematics for the rocket, and then they're kissing, and he's trying to talk to them. I fucking, like, it went straight to my head. Like, can you imagine them in a dark room just hardcore fucking?
Right.
And 2 minutes in, he comes out. He's like, I adjusted the, like, where the fuck did you
I'm trying to put the in. I don't want you to die up there. You're pounding her from the back. You're giving her a good. I try to tricks the rocket for. I got this. Look at the Alan Arkin. I come in here. You're putting it in a bottle. I don't get it.
You didn't think the other part that was kind of funny was how he fucking sticks his finger in his mouth and he just fucking is digging for gum and he pulls out gum and he's like, here's for luck.
I'm gonna say this. Alan Arkin with hair is terrible. I hate it. He should always be bald.
It was weird seeing him with hair.
Right? I'm so used to him now with no hair. It's weird.
It was really weird.
No, I don't know. I did like the movie. It wasn't as bad as I'd like. Well, you and I, Matt, have different thoughts on how movies go, but
I didn't hate it. I didn't. You know, it did. This one just doesn't strike me with the same sort of like early.
It did
Disney
keep me more, but it did keep me more entertained because of the actors that I was looking at, and I knew who they were, so I was kind of like, oh shit, this is when they started, like earlier stuff. So I was just following along, you know, as it was going, and then after I kept seeing like different actors, like Alan Arkin, you know, popping up, and I was like, oh shit, I remember him. I was like, you know, now I know, you know. So I don't know.
Joe Polito or John Polito, whatever his name is, he's another one. It comes in. I'm that guy, and it's like, you're in here.
Bigelow, part of the show.
I don't care. You still gotta pay for it.
But who was the other guy?
McBeaverface.
No, we were talking about Terry O'Quinn that we saw from Lost.
Yeah, as and Howard Hughes.
He's Howard Hughes.
And he did a good job as Howard Hughes, I feel.
Paul Sorvino is Eddie Valentine, the head mobster.
Yeah.
And then that's when I told you, I was like, that guy's familiar. And then you and I went over that whole little thing. You know.
Yeah. Well, how did you describe him? It was like mob face or something, like mobster face. He's
got that mobster face, acapella, like he sings opera to you, you know, but he's a mobster. He's got one of those faces that he's a mobster. He sings opera.
Is he singing opera right after he served you a delicious steak and ziti dinner?
I don't know, man. He just has that face, like, you know, he could sing either fucking opera to you, or he could be a fucking mobster and fucking
cut your throat.
We're gonna have you murderized.
Murderized. I do love this movie, but I understand where Matt's coming from with the like when it builds to a climax in certain scenes, it doesn't deliver after that, and the parts that are too low go on for too long. I totally get that.
The unity that happens at the end, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
you've got the mob and the FBI.
Yeah,
fighting the Nazis.
I just feel like they didn't have enough on the in between to pull the pieces together. Like, I think the concept was good. I just think the execution left some to be desired, because it's just like those scenes in between can't be as boring and slow as they are, because this is supposed to be like a fast-paced, PG-rated action-adventure family movie, and it's just like those slow spots is why it didn't do as well in theaters, because especially around this time when Disney was revving up more and more and more, these sorts of movies where kids could fall asleep in the middle of it did not succeed. If this is supposed to be a family movie.
But those slow spots are also the part where the parents are I have to go to the bathroom, and the parents like, shit, now? All right, well, this is a good time. Let's go.
Yeah, the problem is you don't know that.
You're not going to miss anything.
Well, you don't know that, though.
I know, but
in 1990,
that takes a kid to a fucking movie theater at the time.
Yeah, but in 91, you're in the bathroom going, God damn it, hurry up, I don't know what I'm missing, if you like the movie. Like, you don't, like, this wasn't even the era of VHS yet. I mean, they were still balls expand. You could, like, they were still in the $500 range per copy or whatever, or $100. So it's like, you didn't know until you saw it on cable, and by that point, you didn't fucking remember the movie anyways. That was the problem with back then, is like, you didn't see these movies again after the theater until they showed up on one of the cable channels, or if it was even earlier, like back in the 70s and shit, they'd show up on one of the 3 channels, and then it would just be the nightly movie on that channel, and that was it. Like, that was the fucked up part about this, is you saw it in the theater or you saw it years later. Those are your 2 options. VHS really, once it got down to the economical market, once porn put their weight behind it and it became mass production, then that really boom shot the home entertainment, and then DVDs took it to a whole new level of just like, not only is it in your home, but there's portable DVD players, it's cleaner, it's crisper, these are mass produced, they're cheaper to make, they're small. DVDs really, I think, in my opinion, revolutionized everything, and then now you have digital, which is You know, oh, it used to be, God damn it, need an internet connection. Well, you know, you don't. You can download them on your iPad, like what I did when I go camping. You know, thumb drives, like they've made it so accessible on the digital level. That's really, despite the fact that digital signals, no matter what, are going to have some form of compression because what's being outputted can only do so much. But like, I mean, it's ultra portable. It can go anywhere. If you have an internet signal, you can watch any one of your movies. Yeah. If you have a device that can store them, you can download any one of your movies, and it'll be stored there locally. Like, we were camping, and we watched fucking Sergeant Bilko on the iPad. It's what we do. I love that fucking movie. Now that's a 90s gem.
Oh, shit. So this movie is getting a sequel.
Jesus. Wow. Same guy? The same fucking no-face motherfucker?
I don't think it's the same guy. It says with David Oliolio. I can't pronounce this guy's last name.
Let's see.
David Ololio.
Let the guy who did the Dune remake do it.
Where'd you pick that up at so I can find it?
Deadline.
Deadline. The way really flame. This is how I talk when I cry. All right. Are we ready to give fucking stars on this thing?
Stars.
Hot dogs.
It looks like it's coming straight to Disney Plus. So
I'll watch it.
Like a theater thing. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens if it looks like the same generic like Marvel looking movie. I'm gonna be like,
I know, right?
I'm so sick
Cookie
of it.
Cutter.
Is it? Yeah, it's the same color palette. It's the same CG fucking green screen everything. I'm just done with it.
Have you seen the new Spider-Man yet?
I want to. That's one of the few that I actually want to fucking watch.
It's a refreshing pull away from the cookie cutter movies.
And you know, man, that's got to be like, oh, I don't know if I told you, the Venom 2 is in the Voodoo.
Ooh.
They had it on sale for $10, and I really wanted to watch Ronald McDonald fight Venom. So it's gonna be carnage. Shut the fuck up. Fucking stupid red hair. Carnage in the fucking comics was a serial killer psychopath. A real Carnage movie would have to be rated R.
Yeah.
He's splitting people in the alleyways of New York City.
It would be borderline a horror movie, to be honest.
It would have to be. Literally, part of a Carnage movie would have to be Carnage walking the streets fucking murdering people. Like, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But I own it. I'm looking forward to watching it. I've spent $10 on it. If it gives me an hour of entertainment, good fucking whatever.
I haven't seen the first Venom.
First Venom's not bad.
I have not watched the whole first.
Surprisingly funny.
I'm gonna have to watch
the interaction between Tom Hardy and the symbiote. Between Eddie Brock and the symbiote is pretty good, actually. They do a good job on it because it's all Tom Hardy, which you gotta love. Like even the symbiote's voice is a distorted version of Tom Hardy's.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's and you know there's certain scenes in it, like the one where he essentially, when the symbiote's taking him over, he starts to kind of burn out and he starts to act crazy, and he goes to, I think, a party or something, just like sits in the fountain. And I mean, there's parts where like in the background he's like, you know, he's in the grocery store and the symbiote's just like, let me eat him. And he's like, no, you can't eat people. I told you that. I think of it is small, like, because Tom Hardy's a short dude, and so it's hard for him to be like, I mean, as Bane, they literally had to film everything on the ground floor angle to make him look tall. But he puts on a hell of a performance. Like, I think he's one of the better actors. And I don't know how well the first one would have been if it were anybody else, to be honest with you. Like, because once again, he's doing all the voice and shit. So
he's Bronson after all.
Don't you talk shit about that fucking movie. Bronson is
like
that badass fucking movie, bro.
I like that movie a lot.
You've never seen Bronson, about Charlie Bronson, the famous British gangster? It's a crazy fucking movie. It's an early Tom Hardy movie.
Very fucking crazy.
Well worth it. The prison scene where he's, what was it, wipe down my body? I said, on my asshole, not in my asshole, on my asshole. Just fucking insanity. Great performance. That and, the movie Warrior, I'd also say, is one of Tom Hardy's best movies. All right, we good with hot dogs here? Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'll go first since I'll be quickest. I didn't hate this movie. Didn't love it. I'm gonna give it an honest 2.5. I think for what it tries to do, it fails a little bit. But the sum of the whole isn't a bad movie. It is one of those movies where it's like, you start looking at the phone a bit, you know? It's like, all right, this is real slow. I'll check Amazon a little and I'll do this. And then, oh, something's happening I need to care about. That's this type of movie where it's great to put on the background, but I don't necessarily know if you want to make it the family centerpiece movie night. Yeah, 2.5. I don't think that's an unfair.
I'm going to give it a 2.5 as well. I do love this movie, but I understand the missing parts. There needs to be more Rocketeer parts, more action,
Especially with
more flying.
The quality of the CG, because it didn't look bad.
Yeah.
Like when he was in the air flying, it didn't look shitty. Like, I mean, why, you know, there was things they could have done, like have him do, like, this is pre-World War II, but in World War II, the pilots were the dive bomber pilots, right? So why don't you have him be in, like, the precursor to that, where they're showing him dive bombing into the suit? Like, that's the thing, is there's things you could have done to tie to the future technology of war and everything that was real, to kind of give it a little bit more of that depth and like, oh, we're actually, by the way, 1928 Nazis. No?
The wrong year?
When does the Socialist Party actually form, and when does Hitler actually take over Germany? I don't believe it was 28. I'm pretty sure, yeah, 28 was, we were still in the Depression. One of the things was when we came out of the Depression, Hitler rose the Socialist Party. Let me see. I mean, I guess the actual Socialist Nazi Party did start in 1920, but I don't know when they rose to power.
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Because I don't know when they really rose to power, but I don't know if in 1928 Hitler was. I mean, well. See, I want to say like 32 or 33 is when he actually like took full over Germany.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah, because he only went to 1939.
Well, no, 45.
His rise to power.
He killed himself. In 45.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so in 32, Hitler ran against the president and won, and he was the Nazi Party, Nazi Socialist Party. So in 28, you didn't have the Nazi occultist G-men doing this shit, which also is a whole different layer of doesn't make sense, and it's lazy writing. With the idea of like, oh, it's 1991, nobody knows their fucking history. This is Nazis that did this. And it's like, well, no, that's not true. But we'll let it slide.
For me, this is like a 3.0 for me because it's entertaining. And if you've got a child that's like 5 years old, I think this would be great for them.
Would they fall asleep during it, though?
Because they're going to, no, I don't think so. I think they'd be more excited where they would be jumping around a little bit. And then when they see the guy flying, they're back into it. When they see the action, they're into it because their attention span goes in and out. I think this for the younger generation of kids, they would be into it. But the kids that this was actually generated towards for like the PG, which is like 10 to 13.
Yeah, to compete with like G.I. Joe
to kids
and
nowadays,
like
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
That's because they're fucked up nowadays.
But I think for younger kids, a lot younger kids, I think this could go, like this could be something because.
But it's 1991. You got Turtles out. You got like other kids shit. Do you choose this as opposed to that stuff?
Well, it depends on what kind of a parent you are. So yeah, I can see how that works.
I would have chose Turtles.
Yeah,
I probably would have chose Turtles.
I would have as well.
But I wouldn't have chose the Phantom. That was like 94.
I love that movie.
Remember when
I watched that the other day.
Took us to the theater to see that?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
So right after I watched this, that movie came out on TV, and I started watching it.
It's streaming somewhere.
Literally, as soon as I finished Rocketeer,
I thought it was on the Phantom. I thought it was on Netflix.
Oh, maybe it's on one of them. It was on one of them, then left. Then it went on another one of them. I hate how this fucking streaming licenses work.
Yeah,
I know.
But overall,
Prime Video
3.0 for me on this. I did enjoy it a lot, and it was fun to watch it again.
Yeah, and I'm gonna prove that in the next review that I'm not against like family movies. I'm gonna review Around the World in 80 Days highly, but there's Around the World in 80 Days is different from this movie because there's several pieces of the movie that I enjoy, and I'll explain why. Johnny, did you give us your hot dogs?
You did.
Yeah, 2.5 as well.
Oh wow, I'm sorry, 2.5, huh?
Yeah,
Surprised
I
me
was
on that.
honestly rating it and like I said, I do love this movie, but between the highs and the lows, the ratio is off.
Like, I
And I can
understand
understand that.
nostalgia, and I think part of it was this movie didn't get thrown into my rotation as a kid. Like, I don't even think we owned the VHS. So, like, I don't have the nostalgia. I could understand, like, if you did, why you would enjoy this movie more than I would. Because it's something that, like, you loved as a kid. For me, I think I maybe saw it once as a kid.
So I own 2 VHS movies still to this day. The Rocketeer, I still have it in its original case, and unfortunately, the Mario Brothers.
Now, you know what, dude?
There's nothing wrong with the Mario
yeah,
Brothers.
I'm with Alex on this. I'm going against the grain. I like that fucking... Like, I will say straight up,
too.
It's a shit tier movie.
It is.
Fucking like... You know, the Mario Brothers. Shut up, John Leguizamo.
I like it a lot.
Pistario?
And every time I tell
I
people
think
that, they're like, "You like that?" And I'm
I
like,
think that's
"Yeah,
what makes it
pretty
so
good."
great was they tried their best to create a Mario movie, but they couldn't do it. So they did whatever they could.
2 Italian plumbers, so they chose a British guy and a Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
All right. Good choice.
They
I mean,
did
I love
whatever-
both
they
of them. I
did
do.
whatever they could.
Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, I love both of them. I love them in the movie. But what in the fuck? Like, holy bad casting, Batman.
There is a Snyder cut version, if you will, like a
Yeah,
Snyder
they
cut
put it on
style of
YouTube.
that.
It didn't
And
make
is-
it
yes.
better. It didn't make it. I don't
No,
care
it
what
did
anybody
not.
says. It didn't fucking make it any better. It's still a shit movie. But I gotta watch the whole thing because I'm okay with more of that movie. I like that movie. The Dennis Hopper is probably the worst part, though.
Yeah.
He's literally the worst part in that movie and Waterworld. He ruined 2 fucking movies.
I still love Waterworld. I don't know.
Dennis Hopper hasn't made a good movie since Speed, and he got beheaded in it.
Oh my god!
That was one of the coolest action scenes ever, though, in Speed. When it's going through the tunnel and he goes up and then his head's just gone. Come on, that's so awesome.
It is. It's pretty cool.
All right, we'll be right back with Around the World in 80 Days in this family fun edition of the Nerdattude Movie
Technically
Podcast.
79 if you watch the movie.
Just fucking spoiler alert. And welcome back, everybody. We're doing our second movie for the night, Around the World in 80 Days. The 2004 film, just in case there's any confusion. This one starring Steve Coogan, Jackie Chan, other fucking people. Cecily de France. Jim Broden, as everybody should know him, especially if you like Harry Potter.
Yep.
Ewan Bremer, which he may not be well known, but his that sort of thing.
Yes,
He's in the Rundown.
He's in a lot of shit that I remember.
Kathy Bates is the Queen is awesome. Schwarzenegger with his like final actually like made it to Hollywood cameo, even the movie flopped.
Which surprised me when he popped in. I forgot that he was completely in this movie.
John Cleese, Will Forte in random cameos. Rob Schneider as the hobo. Luke and Owen Wilson as the Wright brothers. I mean, This movie had a lot of awesome people in it.
Yeah, the cast in this movie was pretty damn good.
They did have a lot of people.
Now, they threw everything they could at it. They gave it a $110 million budget. Made $72.2 million.
Most of it went towards the cast.
Probably. I mean, for me, I think part of the charm of this movie is Jackie Chan did the fight choreography.
Yes.
That gave it a certain legitimacy, but also Jackie Chan's style is almost a comedic fight choreography. At least a lot of his older stuff is. It's not, the Raid. There's a certain fluidity to it that makes it. Police Story and all that, not so much. But when he got into that groove, like First Strike, Operation Condor, for sure, Rumble in the Bronx.
He's always said that in his stuff, like, I'm gonna take this book and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it look like this. He's always about the flair of what he can use with his items, and that's what he says in his fight style.
I mean, also the guy's got fucking cojones of steel. I mean, when
to take on all his own stunts.
Take Police Story for instance. At the end when he's in the mall and he goes down that pole, he really did that. But because they had all the lights and everything, the pole was metal and it had heated up, and he had gotten like 2nd or 3rd degree burns on his hands.
Yeah, going
down the fucking thing, and it's just like. The guy has put his body through incredible incredible issues, really broken bones and torn up ligaments and all. And he wasn't when he
Rumble in the Bronx when he took that jump.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Rumble in the Bronx is 1994, right? What year was Jackie Chan born? He was born in. I don't read Chinese.
Hold on, I'll tell you
54.
April 7th, 1954.
So 94 is 40 years old. So he's taking these in his prime, or at least when he was really exposed to the largest American audience. Well, actually, that's not true. So he's 40 years old when Rush Hour comes. Marginally successful, right? Or when Rumble in the Bronx comes, right? Rush Hour, in my opinion, is probably his most popular American movie, 1998. 4 years after Rumble in the Bronx, I believe, premiered. Or maybe, yeah.
So he would be 2 years younger than me.
So in 1998, he was 44. And he was, at the height of his career, still doing ballsy stunts. I mean, arguably, this movie was more Jackie Chan fight than Rumble in the Bronx was in certain sections. It was, at least had a budget. But yeah, so this was his prime. I mean, this movie right here is when this is 04. So you're literally at 50 years old when he did this movie. Jesus. Still in great shape. Still knew how to fucking do it.
Yeah, he looked, for his age, he looked pretty good in this movie.
And I'm pretty sure he was still doing all his own stunts, I'm pretty sure.
Steve Coogan was 10 years younger than him. So Steve Coogan at this point was 39 years old and Jackie Chan was 50. Jackie Chan looked amazing. Now here's another one that's also kind of some credence to it. Schwarzenegger. That man was born in 47. This came out in 04. So 50 years old would be 97, right? So 60 years old would be 2007. So 57 years old, and he was still jacked at this point too.
Yeah, he looked
good
huge in this movie.
He looked good in the movie, yeah. Not as good as his statue, but yeah.
Yeah.
His statue looked a lot better than him.
I'm much bigger now. I still like him, even though he's a fucking. He literally is an alcoholic womanizer, and he has the balls to preach to people about things. It's like, bro, you're a Hollywood bro. Go live your life.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Right. But when I was governor, you mean when you were governor raising your illegitimate child? Like, what do you want me to say, bro? You're not that good of an example in a lot of realms.
Dude, that was a crazy story when that broke. I was what?
Yeah,
you had a secret child? What are you doing?
The maid, she was
not a secret to me.
Cleaning one of my statues of myself.
She brought back my arm.
Maria was being particularly cold to me. And she's kind of looked like skeleton. I needed something to grab onto as I was slipping down the stairs. I fell into her. It was an accident. I didn't mean to.
Oh my god.
That bitch took half my money. I'm fucking tired.
I fell into her. Literally.
It was not on purpose. I'm a quick comer. I quickly came. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. You know me. I like to pump and come at the same time. Alex, since it looks like you want to say something.
No. No. I'm good. Oh, Jesus.
But we were talking about this earlier, Matt. For Steve Coogan, this movie did not do well for him in the American sense.
Killed his American. Like, this was supposed to be Steve Coogan's, like, I'm being brought to American audiences. And instead it was like, I've just been fucked. Like, literally everything about this movie works. And I'd argue that, like, in my opinion, there's not a whole lot that's bad about it. So I don't fully understand why it didn't do well.
Yeah, and you look at his movie, like the movies he's been in, and it's not good.
You know, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, it says it's, so I didn't even say that, I don't think. Hold on, I gotta go back because I clicked off of it. But the budget was $110 million, right? I did say that. So they put a good amount behind it. I don't I don't know. Maybe it wasn't marketed. Maybe what else came out? Let me see what else came out. And does it say what month it released? June. So let's see.
June 20th, 2004.
So 2004.
I just noticed that my number 6 key is no longer lighting up. What the fuck? Fuck you, keyboard. So this is a pretty rough. Okay. I mean, it did come out 2 weeks before this movie, but Spider-Man 2 came out in June of 04.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you've got White Chicks, which was pretty popular. Dodgeball. M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, that was nothing as buried. But you had the Terminal with Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Oh, that was actually very popular.
Riddick, Chronicles of Riddick, the awful Garfield movie. So this is like I think the same week. Literally the same week as Around the World in 80 Days. Chronicles of Riddick. You had another family movie, Garfield. You had a black comedy, The Stepford Wives. Jesus, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban came out June 4th.
It had no chance.
Had no chance to survive.
Yeah.
It was bad timing. And
there's no way this movie had a shot in hell.
Not with Riddick
of breaking through. I mean, it was set to fail. Like,
they should have postponed release and just moved it, knowing.
Well, at that time, they didn't care because they were Disney. They were like, "Oh, it's going to be."
Yeah, but like you're going up against. You're on Prisoner of Azkaban. That's
a heavy fucking hitter, man.
Yeah, that's like was the fourth. I think Azkaban was the fourth or the third.
I think it's the third because it's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban.
No, isn't Prisoner of Azkaban? Which one's Goblet of Fire? Is that 3 or 4? I get those mixed up all the time.
I think that's 4. The
Goblet of Fire is where Twilight dies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Goblet of But are you sure Goblet of Fire isn't 3?
No, because he's much older than in Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh, okay. I like Prisoner of Azkaban because of Gary Oldman.
It was good in it. But that's my point. Like, Disney has seen that there are 2 Harry Potter movies that destroyed the box office.
Yeah.
So clearly, you got the third one. They should have moved it. I guaranteed if you moved it, this movie probably would have done
Prisoner was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't believe all those. Holy shit.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it is. Damn.
So not only that, but that entire summer was packed, dude. The first Punisher movie came out in April of 04. Like Jesus. These are all movies that came out in 04, dude. Not even joking, right? Spider-Man 2, Dodgeball, Day After Tomorrow, Man on Fire, Chronicles of Riddick, Napoleon Dynamite, The Terminal, Dawn of the Dead remake, White Chicks, Eurotrip, Girl Next Door, Troy, Around the World in 80 Days, The Village, Van Helsing, Harry Potter 3, Without a Paddle, The Notebook, Anchorman, Garfield, Butterfly Effect, Starsky and Hutch, Walking Tall, I, Robot, Secret Window, The Exorcist, Soul Plane, Hellboy, Taking Lives, Shaun of the Dead, 50 First Dates, Along Came Polly, Alien vs. Predator, Kill Bill, Volume 2, The Polar Express, Resident Evil Apocalypse, Collateral, Meet the Fockers. I mean, The Passion of the fucking Christ came out in 04.
Oh, shit.
There's a lot of heavy hitters in there for sure.
So Napoleon Dynamite wouldn't have had any kind of impact on it because that was actually more of a classic.
But then. No, that was actually for what the budget was a huge success theatrically.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure
is that including fucking After?
Well, I don't know because when that came out, I thought it had like a shoestring budget, and even with its limited release, the reason why it got expanded was because it made so much fucking money.
Wow.
Let me see.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah, its budget was estimated at $400,000, and it did $46 million.
Yeah. That's approximately what 100, 100 times the amount of cost it made.
Holy shit! Yeah. God damn.
Yeah. So like that's the thing.
But is that including? Because I mean. When was it released?
I mean, in U.S. and Canada alone, it was 44 million.
Well, it's saying that's box office according to Wikipedia, not theater or not DVD and all that.
Well, I'm looking at the IMDb. It says 46 million worldwide as well. but I'm just curious when it went to video because I never heard of it in theater.
I saw it on an awkward date with a girl that my dad drove us to.
How old were you in 2004?
14 or 15. June would have been 15.
Okay.
The only guy in my dad's car, Parker.
To a PG movie.
Someday somebody will be immortalizing that quote, and they're like, they won't even understand like how much I love. Nobody's gonna understand how much that movie's appreciated by me until it's too late. Denzel's gonna die, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, hey, you ever seen the movie Virtuosity? No, what's that? I've never heard of it. Oh, it's a Denzel Washington movie." I'm gonna be like 65, like, I fucking told you, you pieces of shit. Borrow one of my copies. I got like 16. But yeah, no, Napoleon Dynamite was a huge success. And, you know, we were talking about this the other day. Diedrich Bader, a character actor. He's an American Housewife, Drew Carey show, Office Space. He's the neighbor next door.
Okay.
What if you had $1 million? Seriously, dude? 2 chicks at the same time.
What would you say if somebody told you you got a case of the Mondays?
Let me get your ass kicked. Saying
I'd punch him.
And he's right. You know, like the only environment in the world that any fucking group of people thinks is acceptable to talk that way is fucking in an office.
Yeah.
Like guys in a construction fucking area don't talk that way. Ah, fucking Monday. Hey, you got me the coffee? Like, I've been in offices like that. Not that bad. Because there's always people, there's always like anti those people. So like there's the bubbly people, and then there's like, look at this asshole. It's fucking still dark out. It's winter. Everybody else is still like, if I didn't have to be here, I'd be asleep and happy. And I want to kill myself.
But there's cuddle in my comforter with the TV on.
There's those people that like, ha 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 ha, have a great day, and it's like, I'll see you in the parking lot. It's like, I'm tired of your energy, and we just fucking got here. You don't understand. No. It's not a case of the Mondays. It's the case
I've got 25 pieces of flair.
I've got a fucking beard, and I just walked 6 blocks through ice, okay? And this is gonna melt all over my shirt in a matter of minutes. I have to get to the bathroom, and you're clogging up the space with your happy-go-lucky bullshit. I'm going to need you to fuck off. All I request, just a little bit, fuck off.
Give me 20 minutes of thaw out. I know I start in fucking 5 minutes.
That's the thing.
Give me 20 minutes of thaw.
There is no personal space in an office. You don't have personal space. They are legally allowed to fucking invade it. That's why office work sucks. That's why people who are used to working outdoors or with their hands can't do an office, because you have your space to work, because you're working in a space. A cubicle is literally nothing. It's just an area that people can openly walk into and disturb your fucking concentration. That's why nobody wants to go back to the office. Why the fuck would you? Why would you not want to work from home?
That's my home. My office.
If you're smart, you don't even have to wear pants. And most work from home jobs aren't even on camera.
Do you? Do you really?
Yep. I just wear a shirt and no pants.
What's the fucking point?
I talked to my buddy. He doesn't even fucking do his hair even on meetings. They're like, well, we have a video call today. He's like, okay. And he's wearing his t-shirt. He's like, you want me to work from home? Here I am. I'm wearing clothing.
I mean, I'm sorry, but the ideal work from home, and I know Giovanni disagrees, is to not be on the phones. It's to do either data entry or emails to handle customers that way, because then you can have Spotify, you can have music playing, you can have this. Yeah. If you're on the phones, for me, if I'm on the phones, like when I was working from home, I got to worry about the dogs barking and like shit like that. Like if it's not over the phone, working from home would be a fucking godsend in my opinion. Why would anyone want to go somewhere where they have to shit where other people shit? That's right there, and that's what's killing the theater industry. You don't fucking believe me? People have gotten comfortable with not having to share bathrooms, with being able to get up and pause the fucking movie and take a piss at their leisure. They are underestimating the comfort value of streaming at home. People don't give a fuck that it costs them $20 to rent it or $30 to rent it. Why? Because they eat their own snacks, or they order pizza, or they have a family fucking meal for the first time all month. They get to use their own lavatories. They get to drink their own beverages. They don't have to, and that's the thing is, the pandemic provided people comfort of home, and now everybody's a homebody, and that's why the industry is dying. And if other industries don't fucking change, they're gonna fucking die too, because there is no more attraction to the attraction. Dave & Buster's is fun, I guess, but people don't want to go. Why? Why do you want to be in a room with other people? You're not comfortable with your home. The problem is people thought people were gonna go stir crazy, and they did at first, and then it was like, okay, well, I guess this is the normal now. Maybe we should talk to each other and stuff, I guess. And now people have gotten over that stir crazy. Now it's the preferred is to be home.
When my wife and I went to the theaters for the first time in years to see the new Spider-Man, we rented out the whole theater. It was just us.
Which I would have gangbanged that with you. You should let me know.
So it was just the two of you, really? Is it just only the two of you?
Yeah.
So did they also serve drinks there, or no? Was it like, what was it, one of those theaters?
Yeah, the theater we went to had drinks. I had a beer. We got some nachos with extra cheese. And then they cordoned off, because it was the theater in the corner. They cordoned off the section. So like we had the bathrooms there. So nobody, because they cordoned it off, nobody can go to the bathrooms. So we're the only ones who used it.
You would have been able to like bring your own food in?
No, you could. Yeah, you couldn't do that. But it wasn't bad. I don't care how much they cost. I love theater nachos. I don't know what it is about them. They're really
cheese.
good.
It's the
it is the cheese.
I know it's not just cheese. It's the and I'll tell you right now,
the salty chips.
That's the thing. Sam's Club has them. I bought them, but I can't buy the rounds. For one thing, I get the rounds, and they're the over salty rounds, right? Sam's Club sells them, but I can't buy them because I get bitched at because they're too salty. But I bought the Sam's Club just dumbass giant nacho cheese can, and those same shit as theater nachos. Then everybody in the house bitched at me because how salty they were, and I was like, "They're supposed to be."
Yeah, that's the point.
That's terrible for you. I'm not saying eat gallons of it.
But that's the thing. I love nachos, so I have to get unsalted chips. I love it, but I can't have salt, and the cheese enough is got fucking enough salt to fucking kill me.
Probably true. What a weird way to go quiet, fucking weirdos. All right. Let's just go over the quick synopsis of the movie.
What movie are we talking about again?
Go over a quick synopsis of the movie, then we'll give our little brief reviews and get the fuck out of here and go home. So, you gotta go home, but you can't stay here. So the movie basically is Phineas Fogg is an inventor, makes a bet with the Academy of Science, who is this corrupt-ass motherfucker. The leader of him, he's just kind of like striving for power.
The guy from Harry Potter.
He's a very Jim Brodent. He's a very two-faced, oh, hail the queen when she's paying attention, but fuck the queen behind her back. He does have
some awesome chops, though.
He does have some good chops.
And he likes to throw quills a lot, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, he
throws quills at people.
He's aligned with this rogue fucking group from China that's trying to take over power. So basically, Phineas Fogg bumps into Jackie Chan because Jackie Chan has stolen this jade Buddha from the Bank of England. He needs cover, so he goes with Phineas Fogg to get the fuck out of there. And Phineas Fogg makes a bet that says, I can make it around the world in 80 days, with my inventions and all the help with that.
Wait. Only because Jackie Chan says he can make it around the world in 80 days. He plays the phone game, because that's what it was that started that whole thing.
Yeah, he did. He had to make the misconception and draw it on, which just shows you how stupid all those people were.
Yep.
And so he makes the bet, and the idea is he never can invent again if he loses. If he wins, he takes over Jim Brodent's spot, and he's the head of everything. So that's what it is. It's an adventure, and it's one of those movies, unlike Rocket Man, that the pace is constantly moving. You go from one area to the next, and there's always a new adventure, always a new comedy bit, always a new fight scene, always something. Literally, even when they're imprisoned, you have the other guy who's locked up for pissing in public. Just screaming that he's bored. Like, there's always something happening in this movie. The Jackie Chan's mother getting them all hammered when they show up. Rob Schneider is the hobo in San Francisco. random shit like you got Will Forte and John Cleese are British bobbies in the scene that Phineas Fogg is leaving and going on the starting of the adventure. There's a lot of cameos, and to me, this movie is
Ewan Bremer, whatever his name is.
Ewan Bremer is like the Scottish,
Inspector Fix.
who basically chases them from place to place, trying to get the Jade Buddha back, and he's just hapless adventures. One of my favorite scenes, by the way, is when he's chasing them and he comes across them in India or whatever the fuck it was, and Steve Coogan is in the thing and he's like, ha 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 ha. That scene fucking, he's like, ha, when he's trying to look like the woman, but he's like, the guy's looking like, you're an ugly woman, and then he just starts doing the face and the sound where he's going cross-eyed. That makes me fucking giggle every time. Every fucking time.
Jackie Chan picks up the guy and he's trying to use him as a door ram, and he's like, not the head. He flips him over.
I mean, and the fight scenes in this are exceptional. They are Jackie Chan quality fight scenes through and through.
When him and Inspector Fox fixes a handcuff together and they start fighting the guy, and he's like, duck, and then he stops ducking, and he goes jump, and he doesn't jump, and he fucking gets his. That would have fucking took out your fucking leg, dude.
Well, then
he would have had a broken fucking shin.
Some of the, and that's one of the things is this movie, because of who's involved, like. Some of the hits look hardcore. Some of them look a little... But I mean, Jackie Chan gets, like, stabbed, like, what, twice?
Yeah, well, a couple times, yeah.
Like, the movie for a PG kind of kids, I think that's the other thing, is the tonal imbalance. Because I have to admit, the comedy is more for adults in this. There's not, besides the zaniness and when they're in the art studio and he's painting a picture while he's doing a fist fight, that's for the kids, but... there's a lot of innuendo and a lot of shit, like, the mother getting them drunk is for the adults. Like, so I feel like this is one of those movies that's like, is it a kid's movie? I don't know, man. I don't think so.
This is where Disney typically pushes the boundaries in a subtle way.
And they always do. They always do.
But they usually do it lately, especially since they partner or bought Pixar, is like with sadness or with a very overarching heavy theme.
Yeah.
And this one was different. This is not. It's not heavy. It's got more of a like. Well, we're gonna. That Steve Coogan's a comedian. He's a dude. Jackie Chan's a fucking martial artist.
Well, shit. Half the actors they used in this movie were built towards adult comedy type.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's a weird movie in that realm of like, I think it failed because it didn't know its own identity.
They put it on the wrong end.
Well, this movie would have much been better off going PG-13 and getting rid of the stupid goofiness and getting a little sharper with the dialogue and going the PG-13 route. Because then you would have had a fun... and even a family movie that they can enjoy with you, but it's more of a sharp, like, it's one of those PG-13 movies where it's like, yeah, you could watch it. There's going to be an F-bomb, maybe, like that sort of thing.
So what was this, 2004, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what else came out after that with Jackie Chan?
Rush Hour was 98 for the first one, and I think he had already done number 2 by that point as well. I think number 3 was still yet to come out.
I think they're making a number 4.
I hope so. I like Chris Tucker. I like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
They're great together. They have good chemistry.
Yeah.
So he did Rush Hour 3 in 2007.
Okay.
And then
wasn't it the Kingdom? That Kingdom movie?
That was after that. Yeah, that was a huge flop too. I think, but that might have been like 08 actually. That was, I want to say. Then he did the Karate Kid remake.
Yep.
Yeah, that was 2010.
The Foreigners, actually, if you haven't seen it,
that's
really
actually
movie.
Really good. You suggested it last time. It's actually really good.
Not even just him, but Pierce Brosnan's on fucking point in that movie, dude. What's that, Alex?
Oh, wait for Forbidden Kingdom.
Yeah, when did that come out?
17 for The Foreigner.
The Foreigner's awesome. He didn't do much in the at least. Well, he did, but they weren't American really released. They were direct to DVD. He did like The Medallion. You remember that piece of shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He did a couple of Asian movies as well that were. I never saw them because they were questionable.
Medallion was actually before this.
They were questionable.
They are, dude. It's all, those movies that are the direct to DVD or whatever. And yeah, the tuxedo, that garbage fucking. I remember that was when I lost faith in Jackie Chan.
That was his ultimate fucking. It wasn't even Disney, but it was like his ultimate Disney.
Well, didn't he have that? Yeah, he had the movie where he was the babysitter spy, which I dug.
Yeah, the spy next door.
Yeah,
the spy,
and then he just
something.
like sharply fell off. Like immediately he went to like Chinese funded garbage that like it's it is what it is. He stopped wanting to do the goofy martial arts shit.
That's what I think it is. He got away from the martial arts and tried to do more comedy heavy
more acting.
Yeah, and it just didn't work.
Well,
he's always.
Yeah, go ahead. I think you and I are going to go to the same. I was going to say
he always had this problem with communication with American actors. That was his problem. Even though he was learning English along the whole time, he still didn't always get English as his a communication thing.
I think he wanted to be the Robert De Niro of China, and instead he was like, he's Jackie Chan. He does comedic kung fu.
Yeah.
Although when he plays a serious role, like in the reboot of the Karate Kid, he kind of plays a serious role, like the alcoholic who's kind of lost everything.
Well, the foreigner,
the
foreigner is his wife or his daughter gets killed in a suicide bomb, or it was just a car bomb.
Yeah,
perpetrated by the IRA, and he basically goes to the embassy and demands to know the names of the perpetrators, and they don't give it to him, and it turns out he's former Chinese special intelligence or special forces. So basically, he starts finding and weeding out these dudes individually, and that's a slow burn, but it's a worth it slow burn.
Yeah,
that's a movie really that the first half of it is all like drama and acting, and then the second half when he finally starts to find these dudes, and it's not like Jackie Chan busts in and beats the guy to death with a ladder and shit. He literally brings a fucking fully automatic gun to the thing and ends up having to fist fight his way so he doesn't die because he runs out of ammo, and there's like 4 dudes in the room. I mean, the movie itself I wouldn't classify it as an action. It would be like The Bourne Identity, the first one, but less action than that. And no shaky
and less
cam.
shaky cam.
Yeah, no shaky cam.
I have not seen The Foreigner, so that'd be something to check out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a really good
I think
movie.
I own it on one of them. I think I bought it. Maybe Voodoo.
This movie itself was one of the first movies that featured a martial arts style done by Jackie Chan. He only used a small portion of it. That's rarely seen because it's super traditional. There's a fight scene when he's fighting the head of
the hands,
the scorpions.
The head of the scorpions, and he uses what looks like a bench.
Yeah.
That's actual a martial arts weapon.
Really?
Yeah. There's a fighting style for
it. He does fuck that guy up with it too.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he drops it down
with it
on arms.
Did you guys know that Jackie Chan had his own fighting game?
Yes.
What?
It was a ripoff of like Mortal Kombat, but yeah, he had his own fighting game.
Oh, I would love to play it.
Don't you have it?
No,
no, not the Jackie Chan.
I thought you.
Oh no, I've got Jackie Chan's Stunt Master for PS1.
Oh, okay.
That game's the shit, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have the ROM on my phone. It's amazing.
People make fun of me because I love that game, and I also love Jet Li's Rise to Honor.
I haven't played that
for PS2.
I've seen it.
That was the one that used the right analog for the combat. So like you would get surrounded by like 8 dudes, and you'd have to like move the analog to fight them, and he would just do his like little like whatever martial arts style he does.
What the hell?
It's a fucking. It was literally a Jet Li movie that you played. Like I don't know why people didn't like it because they're fucking stupid.
Was there like birds flying and shit in slow motion?
Probably. That was popular for the John Woo crowd. Yeah, spoiler alert, they make it. In 79 days is the queen. So basically Jim Broden is motherfucking the queen and doesn't realize she's behind him, and his whole like evil plan's been exposed, and she orders him arrested, and she, Phineas Fogg takes over, and it's a happy ending. It's just a happy movie.
It is. It's really well done.
So the reason why they made it early, though, is because Jackie Chan kept setting the clock an hour ahead every time they made it to a new time zone, but he forgot to set it back.
There isn't
when they made it to a certain time zone.
But there isn't 24 time zones in the world, is there?
No, but he
No.
just kept setting it forward every time.
Yeah. At some point, when you reach the equator, depending on where you are, you have to start setting it backwards.
Depending on where you are, you're supposed to start setting
Basically,
it backwards.
because he's
as you travel in a different direction.
That nobody knew that but Fogg. So
Yeah.
the ship captain with no nipples.
Yeah.
Not a family movie.
No. And the
He's
fact that he just
familiar,
flashes
though.
him,
Where was he
and you
from,
see Jackie
though?
Chan like,
you guys know where? Did you watch Game of Thrones, Alex?
Yes.
Robert Baratheon, King Baratheon, before he dies early in the first season. He was also he had a CBS comedy, I believe, where he was the bulky husband. I think it went for several seasons.
Oh God! But what's his name though? I can't.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's gonna fucking drive me nuts. But I'll figure it out.
He's also. Are we talking about the ship captain?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's also in A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, he's the one
Yeah.
that he's the one that does the sewing for the suit and all that shit.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Let's. You guys good for the hot dogs? You ready to go? On the count of 3. Everybody, we're gonna do this different. I think we should maybe try this from now on. On the count of 3. Everybody say what your number is, and then we'll give our reason. Just say the number. 1, 2, 3. 4.5.
1 million.
I didn't hear Giovanni.
I said 4.
You said 4. I was going to say
1 million?
3.5. I was going to say 3.5.
All right, Alex, why was it 3.5?
No, I really enjoyed it, but it was very long. I did find it where there was certain
80
parts
days,
where I did,
bro.
Yeah, 79 days. Okay. No, but I did find some parts where it was kind of like dragging on me. And it was still I guess it was still important to it when I watched it again. But I did doze off a couple times. I think it was 2 times.
The scenes that dragged are all the romantic scenes, aren't they? Like all the bullshit love story between him and her.
Yes, I did fall asleep on that part.
I can understand that completely.
I did fall asleep on the part with the when they did finally fight the final boss or final
Shao Kahn.
Yeah, and where
Statue of
Liberty was. I did fall asleep there. But I did go back and watch it. I was like, okay, yeah.
What's interesting
5 minutes.
Is if you watch
5 minutes on both times.
If you watch Shanghai Noon, which we didn't even talk about, another 2 great Jackie Chan movies, Shanghai Night, Shanghai Noon. But there's a similar kind of fight scene where they're going through like tight quarters. I think it's on a ship or a boat or something at the end of the movie. But they're both kind of somewhat in that era. I don't know. I like just fucking watch all. Jackie Chan really had a goddamn run, didn't he? I mean, he's huge in China still. Like, well, if you're not from Hong Kong, but if you're a mainlander, you love him. If you're from Hong Kong, he's a fucking traitor. Seriously, that's what they call him because he's pro-China mainland taking over Hong Kong, but was born in Hong Kong. So people who live and are born in Hong Kong consider him now a traitor, which is really sad. He literally was a Chinese treasure, national treasure. But what was I even fucking saying? Yeah, he had such an American string. It was just like. We'll start with Rumble in the Bronx, right? Rumble in the Bronx, the Rush Hour series, Shanghai Night, Shanghai Noon. Then he had, say Forbidden Kingdom, but it didn't do very well. But then you got Karate Kid. You've got The Spy Next Door, which is I'm pretty sure a pretty big success for him. Like he had a string. Like he had more movies in the States that did well than Van Damme did.
Yeah,
he had more movies in the States that did well than Seagal did. Seagal only had a string of like 4. Van Damme only had a string of like 4 or 5. Like,
yeah, he didn't have much.
Bloodsport didn't make money.
It was a good movie though.
Great movie, didn't do well. Like that's the thing is these movies, like some of these movies, like Steven Seagal's Above the Law, his first movie, great movie, marginal. That's just the truth of it.
Spy Next Door, 28 million budget, 66 million gross worldwide.
It didn't do incredible, but that's triple its budget. It made some money.
Yeah, it's still profited.
That's still technically a success.
It made for a lead cast, for the lead star to be a foreign person with a heavy accent, and he once again he knows that he may not be Schwarzenegger, but he can make fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie. 4.5. I love this movie before we talked about reviewing it. I've seen it a lot. My wife and I would love watching this movie together. Um, I don't even know if you can call it nostalgia. I was fucking 15 when this came out. Like, it's not childhood nostalgia. It's one of those quote unquote family adventure movies that I will fucking absolutely show my children. I love it.
Giovanni?
This is a 4 for me. I do enjoy it. The pace is great. The comedy is great. A lot of familiar faces, and it was awesome seeing them.
Yeah, a lot of cameos.
And then that true Jackie Chan fight choreography. You see it through and through the whole movie. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Especially where he's got the paint all over his face on your screen.
Yeah. Fade it up.
I do like how they're fighting and they do paint a painting. They Bob Ross it with their fist.
When he puts his hands up like this and he gets
the soot.
And all it leaves is this right here. That's what's on his face right there.
I still that scene when Steve Coogan's just like ha ha ha, just fucking still makes me laugh. All right, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks from now. Coming back hot with Matrix 1 versus.
Well, it's a Matrix.
It could be the same. I don't know.
It's
4.
It's a Matrix.
You know, a movie is too fucking stupidly meta when there's a video game of the Matrix in the Matrix.
We'll talk about it, but I understand. Yeah, I was
stupid.
The minute it started,
thumbs up.
I was like,
right.
Like the whole goddamn movie was just an advertising campaign for Unreal Engine 5.
So you finally watched it, then, right? Correct?
Not all of it.
Okay.
I haven't.
Because when we talked
so
about
it,
we talked about it on text, I sent Anthony a message saying the same thing. So you just mentioned it.
Oh, okay. See, I know the spoilers. I've read them all because after I watched about 20 minutes of it and I had already read reviews, I was like, "Really fucking sucks dick."
Yeah, it's so.
And like I know, I don't like the direction it went in. I think the CG so far is subpar.
It's gonna be fun.
Way too many.
It has none of the magic. It has none of the magic.
Way too many. You can literally tell the other Wachowski sister has all of the vision. Like this one's just been riding this one's just been riding the fucking coattails. Like clearly, like the reason this one is the one that fucking wanted to do Jupiter's Ascending. The other one did Speed Racer. I like Speed Racer.
Speed Racer was great.
Fucking awesome.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Those are both Wachowskis? Really?
Yeah.
Fucking nanjas.
Holy shit, I never looked at the directors.
Yeah, Speed Racer is Wachowski's. And it's a badass movie.
Yeah.
Still fucking holds up. I own that on iTunes, I believe.
It's probably one of the best cartoon adaptations to a movie I've seen.
Very loyal.
Compared to cartoon versus movie.
Yeah, very loyal to the source material, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, next week we'll be talking more in depth about that. I mean, my worry about that review is it's going to be like, Matrix 1 is so amazing, and there's piece of shit. Like, that's just basically what the whole thing's going to be, but...
Dude, you can compare... Let me put it this way. You can compare Resurrection to 3, and 3 is the better movie.
Very much so. Matrix, this is a movie that shouldn't have been made.
Yeah, I agree.
If this is the direction they were going to go... Then if it was going to be made, then it should have never been Keanu Reeves. It should have never been Trinity. It should have never been Neo. If you're going to give this, if you're literally going to give that much focus to the new players in the game, and then try to be like,
should have been new players
by nostalgia, like just eliminate the old school. Like you're already shitting on the legacy of it. Just don't have them in it. Like there's Morgan Freeman, or not Morgan Freeman, Lawrence Fishburne. Is not in it. And that motherfucker dodged a bullet, right? Hugo Weaving read the script and was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. That's why Agent Smith is completely... They're going to make up the story, oh, well, it's a different program. And it took... But no, it's those actors fucking... They had better agents than the others. I don't know what to tell you. Like, Keanu Reeves, they must have...
Now, Keanu Reeves did it because...
They threw bucketfuls of money.
No. He's just like, you know what? I'm here to help you out. I'm going to be there for you. Because he did Bill and Ted for Alex Winter.
Well, that's different. He did it for a friend.
He made the movie to help these people, not because he wanted to be in a movie. not because he was getting paid. He donated 70% of his fucking money.
From the first movie, from the Matrix trilogy.
From this one too. From what I heard, this one too. I got to look at it again.
Here's the thing. I understand you want to be a nice guy. Don't make shitty movies because of it. That's a mistake.
I think
it's a mistake.
I don't know how far you got, Matt, but there's a meta conversation between Neo and somebody else in the movie. And they go into
NPH?
Yeah. I think that's what it was. I think there was a little bit of like, yeah, this is why we have to do this shit.
Yep.
I think honestly, that's
what Anthony and I had a conversation about.
I like Neil Patrick Harris, but god damn it, why was he in this?
Yeah.
He was
I
not
like him
good
too,
in
but
it.
yeah, it was
not good in it.
He was out of place. It was weird.
That's for the next episode. I'm already depressed for it. Everybody have a good night. We will see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night.